Hi,
Hi,
what's your name?
my name is Comfort.
Okay, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
What comes to your mind when you hear the name Muammar Gaddafi?
Ah! Ah!
He shock you.
Well, I think I know he was a tyrant, and I think that's all I can say about him for now.
Tyrant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Yeah, can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Muammar Gaddafi?
First off, is he a Nigerian?
No, not a Nigerian.
Okay, the name sounds like a terrorist.
A terrorist.
Yeah.
Tyrant or something
A
like that.
tyrant.
Yeah. Gaddafi, like a terrorist or something.
Yeah.
Gaddafi, I don't know.
Serial killer.
Yeah, what else?
Boko Haram.
I feel like he's tall. Can't really say, but I think he was an activist or something like that.
Yeah, there used to be one security like that we call Gaddafi. That's the first thing that comes to my head when I hear Gaddafi.
Like terrorists, like insurgency or something.
Man's it in the head, not.
Man, it's dead. No.
Yes,
Like
now.
Gaddafi. Oh, man. Good afternoon. Yeah, what's your name?
Yeah, Fola.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick question. What comes to your mind when you hear the name Muammar Gaddafi?
Muammar Gaddafi. It was the president. Libya.
Libya, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, for a very long time.
What do you have about his personality? What's,
For somebody to stay, on the be a president for that long, I would say he's an authoritative kind of person. Somebody that doesn't really, care about what the people actually want. He just care about the power and stuff like that. So that's just it.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, what's your name, sir?
Wale.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Why not? Go ahead.
When you hear the name Muammar Gaddafi, what comes to your mind?
One Libyan president like that. Somebody that wanted his country to compete with America. Somebody that wanted freedom for his nation. That wanted his people to live fine without being helped or supported by the US. Somebody that was killed by, I don't want to mention the name of the country.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Wow. Some people called him a dictator, a bad man, while others called him the hope of Africa, the man who stood against the West. Let's dive deep into the life of Muammar Gaddafi, the man who ruled Libya for over 40 years. Was he a tyrant? Was he a visionary leader? I'll leave you guys to decide at the end of this video. Stay with me. In 1969, a 27-year-old army captain, barely out of his youth, stages a blood coup in Libya. Overnight, King Idris is gone, and the world wakes up to a young man in military uniform declaring a new era. That man, Muammar Gaddafi. He promised to throw out colonial influence, return her wealth to the people, make Libya a proud and independent African nation, and for a while, he did exactly that. Under Gaddafi, Libya went from one of the poorest African countries to the richest. He nationalized oil, cutting off foreign powers and using the money to build schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Education was free and literacy rates skyrocketed. Healthcare was free and life expectancy improved. Newlyweds received financial help from the state, and homes were considered a basic human right. What was his greatest dream? A United States of Africa with one currency backed by African gold. To many Africans, Gaddafi wasn't a dictator. He was a symbol of resistance to Western exploitation. That is why many people called him the King of Kings of Africa. But let's not sugarcoat it. Gaddafi's rule wasn't all roses. He had power for 42 years without election. Political opposition were crushed, critics often disappeared or ended up jailed. His secret police spread fear, and freedom of speech was almost non-existent. He was accused of sponsoring terrorism worldwide, from the Lockerbie bombing in Scotland to supporting militant groups across the globe. To the West, Gaddafi was unpredictable, dangerous, a man who refused to play by their rules. Now here is where things get really interesting. Gaddafi wanted Africa to be financially independent of the West. His plan, a single gold-backed African currency that would challenge the dominance of the US dollar and the euro. Imagine 50+ African nations trading in gold dinars instead of dollars. For Western power, that wasn't just a dream. It was a nightmare. It threatened global financial system that had been in place for decades. Add to that Libya massive oil reserves. Gaddafi suddenly wasn't just a leader, he was a threat to Western dominance. In 2011, inspired by Arab Spring, protests erupted in Libya. NATO quickly intervened with Western leaders calling for Gaddafi to step down. Airstrikes armored Libya forces and chaos spread. By 2011, Gaddafi was cornered in his hometown of Sirte. He was captured by rebels, emulated on camera, and violently killed. The man who ruled Libya for 4 decades was gone in a flash. When NATO-backed rebels took him out in 2011, many Libyans celebrated, thinking freedom and democracy were finally here. But in reality, Libya slipped into chaos, rival militias fought for power, and the once stable economy collapsed. The ordinary Libyans who once had free healthcare, free education, and subsidized housing suddenly found themselves struggling. The country became divided, with 2 rival governments, constant violence, and foreign power playing chess with Libya's future. Some people now look back and say we may not have loved Gaddafi, but at least we had stability. Others argue his removal was necessary to end decades of dictatorship. The truth is, Libya has never been the same since. So here is the big question: was Gaddafi a dictator who terrorized his people, or was he a visionary leader who stood for his people against the West and paid the price? I'll leave you guys to decide in the comment section. Do not forget to like my page, subscribe, so that you can see more of this kind of content.